Hello guys, welcome you all. This is Shruti Kapoor and this is our fourth video of chapter Our Constitution. Today we are going to read about key features of our Constitution. In our last video, we read about the preamble, the different key terms of the preamble. Clear? So our next part is key features. So first, we must know the meaning of features. What do you mean by features? Well, let me give a very general example regarding the feature. As when we just go somewhere, or suppose I am going to purchase a new mobile phone. Clear? So what special thing I just notice about my phone? That what should be the camera quality, its space, and the other some special qualities. Clear? So this is our features, or we can say that some special characteristics, some special qualities a particular thing is having. So Constitution of India, our Constitution is having these special four features over here. The first is federal system, the second is separation of powers, third is parliamentary form of government, and the fourth is our fundamental rights. Somehow, some of you know about the few terms, or some of you, every term is new, so no need to worry. We will start from the very basic. Clear? First, let me tell you about the federal system and the separation of powers. If we talk about the federal system, here the federal system means vertically distribution. Now, vertically distribution of what? Here, the vertical distribution of powers. Like in our India, the highest level of government we are having is our union government, or we can consider it as our central government. Clear? It is the topmost level, it is saying as the head. सबसे ज़्यादा पावर्स किसके हाथ में है? इनके हाथ में. कौन आएगा हमारे पास? हमारे PM, President, all these people. Clear? So PM is the example. Clear is the position. After that, union government we are having is our state government. Clear? State government, which shows us our chief ministers. Clear? Which shows that they are having somehow superior. That means superior means some less powers as compared to the head, but they are eligible to take decisions for a state level. Here we are having some chief ministers over there. The third level of government we are having is our local government. And the local government, what we are having, it's about panchayat, municipal corporations. So in this way, we are having this. In this way, the powers are distributed. Clear? So you can say that the powers are distributed from top level to the lower level. The person who is sitting at the top, they are having the higher level of powers as compared to the other one. Clear? In our India, somehow state government is independent to take decisions. How? Suppose Chief Minister of UP want to take a decision for our Uttar Pradesh, for our UP. So in this situation, there is less need to consult to the union government. They can consult, but not even a single decision over there. Okay? Like suppose the central government give us the fund. Clear? That this is a fund, you have to establish school in the whole Uttar Pradesh. So it is all up to the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh that where he required, where he felt that there is a need to establish some more government schools over there. Clear? So in this way, union government, state government and the local government, vertically the powers are distributed and they can able to take a decisions by themselves. So in the same topic, federal system, one more question arises that how union government can come to know on which particular things, on which particular topic they can able to take a decisions. So all these things are mentioned in a list, and the list is known as our union list. Union list on which the union government can take a decision. The next we are having is our state list on which the state government can take a decision. The third we are having is our concurrent list. And in the concurrent list, both state and the central government can able to take a decisions. That means central and state government can take a decision over here. So this is all about our federal system. Hopefully this federal system is clear to you. Now let us move on. The next topic is our separation of powers. Now the separation of powers over here means that same here we are dividing the powers over here, but we are dividing the powers into the vertical form. So this separation of powers is just opposite to the vertical form of government. In separation of powers, we divide the power in horizontal form. In horizontal form. Clear? How horizontally? In this way. Which shows that all the people who are in this level are having a same powers. Clear? No one is considered as a superior, no one is considered as an inferior. कोई छोटा कोई बड़ा नहीं है. All are equal at their own positions, having the same powers. Like at this, here we are having the legislative government, legislative form of government. Then we are having executive form of government. The last we are having is our judiciary. Here, legislative, executive, and our judiciary. Now, what are these governments? What are the organs? And one more thing, literally, this is known as the organs of the government. Here, all these three are known as the organs. Here, where the vertical form of government is known as the levels of the government. Clear? So, organs of a government over here. Now, legislative means, what is the working of legislative? It's to make new rules and regulations. Executive means, executive work is to execute. Execute means to implement. Planning कर रही है, but उसके अकॉर्डिंग काम करना स्टार्ट नहीं करा. So does the legislative work over there? No, planning fail है. तो executive का work है to implement all those plans. The next one is a judiciary. Judiciary means to find out, make a judgment over there. Clear? You just have a look over here. Executive means to make laws. Sorry, legislative means to make laws. Executive means to implement the laws. Judiciary means judgment. That means this judiciary level is going to find out whether both the legislative and the executive are doing their work accordingly or not. Now one thing, this executive is answerable to the legislature. Answerable, one more word we can consider it about as an accountable. So this executive is accountable to the legislative that all those rules and regulations which is framed by the legislative is implemented or not, or in which way all these rules and regulations are implemented. And judiciary. Judiciary can able to ask the questions from both from legislature as well as from the executives. And as I told you that powers over here are equal. Clear? We can write it down over here. Equal powers, which shows that no one is superior, no one is inferior, everyone is equal over here. And at this level, it becomes very easy to check that no one is misusing their powers over here. That's why this separation of powers or the horizontal form of government is also known as our check and balance form of government. Is our check and balance form of government. Clear? Just have a look over here. Hopefully you guys will not have you're not having any kind of doubt in this separation of powers. Now next we are going to start is our parliamentary form of government. In the parliamentary form of government, somehow it is related with our horizontal. Basically, the parliamentary form of government, they just want to clarify that what is the exact system of governance in our country. Clear? What is the system of governance in our country? You know that how we are going to select the representatives. Few answers we need to give in this. If you know the answers, who is going to select the representative? Who is going to select the representative? The next is how we are going to select them. How we are going to select them. If you are able to answer these two questions, you know the meaning of the whole parliamentary form of government. Answer these two questions, we just able to understand the whole parliamentary form of government. Now, who is going to elect the representatives? कौन करेगा? First question answer is general public. But कैसे करेगी general public? How we are going to elect the representatives? Via votings. Now the question arises, who will vote? The student of class 8th will vote for the representatives, or the student of class 9th or 10th will vote for the representatives? So I think this answer is very clear to you. A person who is 18 plus, clear? A person who is 18 plus can easily able to vote and select their representatives. And this system means process of giving a vote to the particular representatives is known as our universal adult suffrage. Clear? This is a universal adult suffrage. So after completing our 18 years, we are eligible to cast a vote for our favorite representatives. Now we select the representatives. Clear? हमने अपना representative select कर लिया है. It may be either from the BJP, Congress, Aam Aadmi Party, from any other party. Clear? We just select our representatives. Now these representatives will go to the parliament. This is we are the people. The number of people over here. ये कौन है हमारे पास? People. And we just cast a vote. इन्होंने voting करा. And we select a people over here who is known as our representatives. Now, this representative just go in the parliament. He just acquired a position in a parliament. it depends. He is acquiring the position of an MLA or MPs, either in the Legislative Assembly or in the Legislative Assembly or as a member of a parliament over there. Clear? He just become an MLA or an MP over there, so in short we say that he become the member of a parliament. After becoming a member, a proper discussion. This is a parliament. Clear? Lot of people are sitting there. These are the people. Sorry, my mind is not good. So these are the people who are sitting there, and they will finalize a particular decision. Clear? They will finalize that whether the particular decision is to be taken, whether the particular law is to be made or not. So this is the whole system of our parliamentary form of government. Here again, as I told you, the decision is going to be taken. So legislature will make a decision, executive will implement the decision, and judicial level will find out whether the decision is good or not, or executive and the legislative are working with the coordination or not. Here this is all about the parliamentary form of government. And let me clear you one more thing: the parliamentary form of government, separation of powers, and the federal system of government varies according to country. Clear? In our separation of powers, we are having that executive is to be answerable to the legislature, whereas it might be in some other countries the decision and the structure is different. Clear? Similarly, in this form of parliament form of government, it may be the decisions taken by them or some other procedure is there, and those members who are sitting there in a parliament, they are directly or indirectly elected by you only. You means by the people of 18 plus. And this universal adult suffrage guaranteed that we must not have any kind of partiality on the basis of gender, caste, religion, education, culture, language, color, anything. If a person is 18 plus, whether he or she is educated or not, whether he is having good income or not, he or she is able to cast a vote for their representatives. Clear? Hopefully this third feature of parliament is clear to you. Now come on, the next one is our fundamental rights, and this is the most common topic. Fundamental rights. Sometimes we used to say, no, this is my right, I can stand here. No, this is my right, I can go here, there. So what are the fundamental, what are the rights? Basically, rights are few statements. These are the only statements which is mentioned in our constitution, and according to which we can able to do work or we can enjoy all these things. Clear? Nobody can restrict us, nobody can stop us to enjoy our fundamental rights. All these rights are mentioned in our constitution, and if anybody restricts us to follow our rights, so there is a simple formula, or you can say a simple funda. We can file a case against that particular person. केस कर दिया, अब गवर्नमेंट विल सी, ठीक है, हमें कोई रोक नहीं सकता, किसी ने रोका तो फिर उसकी पनिशमेंट पक्की है गवर्नमेंट की साइड से. Now let's see how many fundamental rights we are having, and what are its types, and what are the different types of fundamental rights we are having. The first fundamental right is freedom, right to equality. Right to equality, right to freedom, right to choose, right to freedom of religion, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, next is right against exploitation, right against This is our fifth right. Right against exploitation. Then we are having is right to primary education. And the last right, this is the most important right. अगर last वाला right नहीं मिला ना, constitution नहीं दिया, तो consider all the rights are nothing. It is a failure. What is this right? Right to constitution, right against, constitutional remedies. Now the right to constitutional remedies over here. Clear? So now let us have a look on each of the rights in detail. The first right we are having is right to equality. I don't think so. I need to tell you in too much detail, but still I will tell you in detail. Right to equality means equal treatment. What kind of treatment? अगर मेरी फ्रेंड को गिफ्ट मिला है तो मेरी दूसरी फ्रेंड मुझे सेम गिफ्ट देगी. No, nothing like this. Equal treatment means we must have, in the eyes of a government, in the eyes of a law, every person must be equally treated. Either the person belongs from any of the caste, gender, culture, or a religion. There should not be any kind of partiality over there. If you talk about the partiality, it should not be like this. Suppose person A and there is a person B. Clear? Both belong from the different caste. Now person A is having 10,000 rupees. Clear? Person A is having 10,000 rupees, whereas person B is having 10,000 rupees in his pocket. Clear? Both want to sit at the same place in a restaurant. Both want to go in a restaurant and only single seat is there. Person A belongs from the higher caste, whereas person B belongs from the lower caste. So in this situation, restaurant owner cannot decline or cannot deny person B to sit on the same position. It is all about first come and first grab the opportunity, and there should be mutual understanding between them. Clear? So ऐसे नहीं कि if he belongs to the lower caste तो restaurant में से मना कर देगी. No, you are not allowed to sit in my restaurant. If the both are having the same positions, both are having the same money, so it is up to them who will sit. Nobody can deny on the basis of caste, color, or gender. It is all about the equal treatment. Now, if you talk about the equal treatment, one thing is over here, reservations. So, if any concession government want to give, then government want to give and they can able to give that concession to the particular caste or the particular say weaker section of our society, but it should be the weaker section of our society. Clear? So equal treatment doesn't deny that we should not give any kind of concession or some special remedies to weaker sections. We can give, but to weaker sections of our society, and we always consider the weaker section according to majority. कि उस particular caste के ज़्यादा number of people किस majority में है, weak है या high level पे है. Clear? Now the next is right to freedom. Freedom, क्या है right? I think we read about all these things in our preamble. Here, right to freedom means that I can move anywhere, I can go anywhere, I can able to express my views. मैं कहीं भी जाके धरना देके बैठ सकती हूँ. I don't want to strike, but it should not be violence. Yeah, violence create नहीं करना. It should create a peaceful environment. We can able to make our own organizations. We can able to make our own groups over there. Groups in the form of like in this situation, in this virus, in this epidemic, in our country. We are having a lot of different NGOs or the social groups who are helping the people. So this is the right. No, they are enjoying the freedom to make the groups over there. Clear? So this is all about the right to freedom. Means here we can able to make our groups right to speech, right to expression, right to get education, right to follow any of the culture, and right to make their own groups. So this is all about the right to freedom. The next is right to freedom of religion. Now, we can choose our religion according to our wish now. Suppose if I am born in any of the caste, in any of the religion, so it's okay, clear. But after the age of 18 years, I am liking some other religion, clear. So after the age of 18 years, we can able to change our religion. It is not restricted on us. But right to freedom is not this, freedom of religion is not this, we can change our religion. In this religion, in this right, we can able to do prayers, we can able to make our different, we can able to expand our religion over there. In this way, we can able to make a different categories, or we can say that propagate, expand, follow our culture, our religion. The next is cultural and educational rights. In this cultural and educational rights, somehow same as the right to freedom of religion. In this culture, we can able to follow our culture, we can able to get our education rights. This is our right to get an education if I am willing to get. Suppose if I belong from any of the caste and belong from any of the religion, clear? So nobody can stop me to take an education. It is my right that I can take an education in any of the institute if I am eligible, financially as well as intellectually. Clear? The next we are having is right against exploitation. This is the most important right. You can consider it as a right against exploitation. Major use इसलिए होता है. Like I am giving a few examples over here. Right against exploitation, domestic violence, child labor, bonded labor. These are a few types of exploitation over here. Clear? Domestic violence. According to you, the government make any of the rules or the regulations regarding this domestic violence? Yes, because it is considered as a illegal. This is an exploitation. We can raise our voice. And child labor under the age of 14 years, if any of the child is working, then it is considered as an illegal concept or a punishable. Now, bonded labor. It seems like a new term for you. Bonded labor means forced. मतलब जबरदस्ती काम करा रहे हैं. फोर्स्ड मीन्स फोर्सफुली उनसे काम करा रहे हैं, उनको सैलरी नहीं दे रहे हैं प्रॉपर, कम सैलरी करा रहे हैं, ज़्यादा नंबर ऑफ वर्किंग आवर्स उनके, माइट भी उनकी वर्किंग कंडीशंस, वर्किंग एनवायरनमेंट अच्छा नहीं है. क्लियर? सो दिस इज ऑल अबाउट द फ्यू एग्जांपल द एक्सप्लॉयटेशन. सो इन दिस सिचुएशन अ पर्सन कैन एबल टू रेज अ वॉइस against all these things, or you can say that sometimes we are having a discrimination among male and the female members. So in this situation also it is a kind of exploitation if any of the partiality or the disparities take place. So it is our right against exploitation. The next we are having is right to primary education. In this primary education means 6 to 14 years. This is our right that any person can take an education from the age of 6 to 14 years, and somehow it is compulsory now, and for this thing the government introduced a new system which is known as our Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan. Clear? In this Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan they just go to some of the primary schools affiliated by the government, and this Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan program is launched by the government so that every child till the age of 14 years can able to get a good and a proper education. The last, as I told you, the most important right over here, right to constitutional remedies. Now, these are our rights. Clear? Suppose if any of the person forcing us to follow these rights, clear? So this right to constitutional remedy will play an important role according to this rights. Because of this right we can able to file a case against the person that दे आर स्टॉपिंग अस टू फॉलो ऑल दीज राइट्स. अगर ये कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल रेमेडी ही नहीं होगा तो पनिशमेंट कौन देगा इन्हें हमें फॉलो ना करने के लिए, इनको फॉलो ना करवाने के लिए. क्लियर? सो इन दिस वे द राइट टू कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल रेमेडी इज़ द मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट राइट ओवर हेयर. So this is all about the different special features of our constitution. Let us have one more look over here. Clear? So what we read in this federal system, that means vertical distribution of powers. Vertical distribution of powers means union, state, and then local level. And thus separation of powers, it is a horizontal form of government, means legislative, executive and judiciary. ठीक है. The last is our parliamentary form of government. बस इतना याद रखना इसमें क्या था, टॉपिक पूरा अपने आप याद आ जाएगा. यूनिवर्सल एडल्ट suffrage. And the last is our fundamental rights, as I to explain you right now. Hopefully this topic is clear to you. If any doubt, then you guys are free as usual. You can ask your problems from me. Till then, take care, bye bye, and don't forget to share, like and subscribe my video. Bye bye guys.